All right, we're going live on YouTube here, people. Okay. Hey, JoJo. What's up, you guys? City Light Music. What's up, you guys? Let's see here. Chico, let me know he's on calls. All right, we'll get him on the next one. I'm going to get him on here anyway, you know. Let's make sure we're live on YouTube. Yeah, we're live on YouTube. Refresh that. Let me just throw a little intro. Let's see here. Media source, intro logo. So we'll do a little intro music. How about that? I'm going to throw an intro video on YouTube. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you'll see a dynamic intro video. All right, I'm going to let that one run. What's up? We got a couple more people in here. We're also on YouTube. Check out the link in the bio. So cool. Cool, I just sent an intro video there. Cool, we'll give like two or three more people a chance, and then we'll get to it. Cool. I'm gonna just a couple YouTubers in here. Okay, I ain't mad at that. So if you're on Instagram, the bio here. Sorry, I'm kind of manning everything myself right now, so it takes a moment. But in the bio, if you want to watch like the full screen, the kind of full screen 16:9 version, I'm pasting the link. The link is now in our bio on IG. So if you wanted to watch that, you could check it out. Oh, what's up, Andy? What's up, you guys? Well, cool. We got a few people in here, a couple of YouTubers too. Cool. Oh, cool intro video. Thank you for the feedback. How's my audio on YouTube? Is it pretty good? Cool. Way different view with YouTube. Yes. Thank you. We're getting good feedback. Yeah. The YouTube experience is a lot of fun. Like I said, I played some intro, like an intro video. Watch for my YouTubers here. I'll play you little tunes. I'll transition some jams here for you. It'll be way too loud. Sorry, guys. I didn't set my audio on YouTube yet, but there's some music for you guys. Oh, we got a new subscriber. Well, thank you. Cool. Well, today is what? April 24th. Okay, now I'm monitoring my output. So if you're on YouTube, I got a little track under my voice here. It mellows it out a little bit. You know, it makes it feel good. But yeah, last time we were talking, you know, we had a lot of back and forth with YouTube, and real cool dude named Miles. Anyway, he was asking, you know, I got to talk to him kind of, is it the 25th? No, it's the 24th. I'm trying to, for the YouTube viewers, look at my camera more often too, but I'll fade that music out. Okay, cool. So we're gonna cut. Okay. Cool. Yeah, the 24th. What is time? Yeah, time is whatever. Oh, what's up, Edgar? So we got Edgar in the mix. But yeah, last one we did, you know, we've been generally doing these on Mondays, but you know, I've been texting with some folks, and I had a great conversation with Miles kind of after our last conversation. What up, dude? And you know, a lot of his kind of questions, I think, were around, you know, making the jump, you know, going out on your own, and like, when is a good time to do that? And when should you do that? If you should do that, I mean, a lot of those questions are for you to answer, but you know, talking to him really kind of like made me think about like the time that I did that and kind of why and when. But yeah, I don't think anybody has that answer for anybody else. How cool they corrected us on YouTube too. It's the 24th, everybody. So we go through the rest of their day and be like, oh, it's the 25th. But yeah, we started talking about, you know, he had a lot of questions that were specific to, you know, what'd your wife, your family think, you know, what I believe the kind of statement that he said was, what was your freedom price? And I think we named that last episode that because we talked about that in the segment, but I was just going to do a quick one real quick, kind of like in tune to that. And if anybody on the feed or anybody here has any input or their feedback on like, you know, if that's something they were thinking about doing, or if that's something they've already done as far as, you know, making a jump from, you call it a 9 to 5, you call it, you know, whatever you want to call it. But I think, you know, when that move was right for you, maybe it was a 9 to 5 to another job, or not necessarily even going out on your own. I think this expands even into, you know, what making a move from where you're at right now. And it's a funny time because it's a unique time with the pandemic. You know, I think if you're excited to just be at home and just thankful to have a minute to get away from things, you know, maybe it's time to like reevaluate what you're doing in your day to day anyway. And for all of us, I think as we go and work and, you know, we're putting our best foot forward, so to say, in our jobs, careers, or whatever we do day to day, you know, you got to constantly evaluate, like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? You know, that question is different for everybody. And, you know, I think it all depends on like your intent. You know, for me, making that move was a bigger deal personally. And, you know, I think when he had mentioned that, you know, what was your freedom price? I think maybe either in his mind or for some people, it's, you know, more about like a certain number or financially being stable. And obviously that's a big deal. And obviously having a move to make and having somewhere to go, something to do, some type of skill set that'll provide you income, you know, all those things do matter. And so that's why I think, you know, obviously it's everybody's, you know, choice, decision, you know, their group of factors. I think, you know, when we go back to like that freedom price idea, like what is that number that you allow yourself to get to set yourself free? Oh, what's up, Zach? Zach's in the mix. And, you know, I think that, like I had mentioned to him, you know, from a monetary standpoint, that wasn't the deciding factor. You know, I think, you know, there's probably quite a few line items for people when they talk about trying to go, you know, independent or, you know, make their next move. Whether, like I said, whether it's to another job, whether it's to an endeavor on your own. But yeah, you know, for me, I think those things, obviously financials was a big deal, but I think when it comes down to it, and he really had me like thinking about that, and then we had a great conversation after the last stream. You know, I think for me it was more about being satisfied or having some type of level of content that the things I was doing every day was actually pushing me in the direction that I wanted to go. And although like my day-to-day career has always been kind of around the things I went, you know, I've gotten that a lot in my career, which is like, oh, well, that's great. You're doing the thing you went to school for, you know, even before social media. And, you know, I was doing the print work, design work and whatever, you know, I got that a lot. It's like, oh, you're using your degree. That's awesome. You know, and it is, you know, I think I had made it a point to be like, okay, I've taken this time in school and now I got to make something of this. And I think that's where my route went. Although I wanted to jump right into video stuff, it went from, you know, to print work, which was ironic because doing the print stuff, you know, if you would ask me in college, I would have said, you know, I'm down to do whatever. I just don't want to do print. And that's where my opportunities came right away. So, That's where I went, and spending 5 years doing that, was interesting. And I think even that move to my next move at the agency was about, I don't feel like I'm doing every day the thing that a majority of my hours aren't going to the thing that's going to, I like that word free, but it is kind of set you free. It's, oh gosh, I touched my face. That's just one. But it is kind of, that word free. I mean, I will say, although, going out on my own, trying to find my own clients, do my own work, build my own company, can be kind of like daunting or whatever. I still have a sense of freedom that I never felt I had before. So what is the price of freedom? We each have that question to answer ourselves. And you know what? For some people, I know plenty of people that are doing really awesome things with other companies and have great jobs and made incredible careers doing their own thing. But I think in the social media day and age, and just kind of in the world in general right now, there's a constant feed to be doing, when you're a constant literal feed of people, showing off their best, doing the most, becoming entrepreneurs, so there's that stigma or pressure where you feel like, oh, okay, I need to, oh, nice. I just got oh, that's funny. I'm on somebody's full screen. That was awesome. Thanks for texting me that. But, everybody has that kind of question to answer their own. But like I said, plenty of people have made amazing careers. I think only with maybe the social media pressure or, these other things, when you're flipping through the screen, I mean, social media and stuff like that kind of gives you the sense of you not being enough already. When you see all these people doing these extraordinary things, and I think it's great that when you can look into and see other people doing things, it can be very inspiring. But an overwhelming abundance of seeing that, and added with the feeling of not freedom feeling, that feeling of like, oh, I'm not doing the thing day to day that serves me or that I feel like is my goals. The combination of that, can really put you in a kind of negative thinking, kind of negative headspace. So I think, freedom, like it says, what is the cost of freedom? What is the price you want before you jump ship? Well, to step back, I think you got to evaluate the things that you have and go from there and find, maybe being grateful for those things before you look beyond what is within your reach. And I use that saying with friends and stuff like that is, take care of the things that you can touch. Put the things in order that you can touch. Maybe it's just at home, maybe it's in your day job, and whatever that job is you're trying to jump from or make a move to, dig into it and do as good as you can and get the best out of it before you really, I think that's what it starts with is, what's my freedom price? When should I make a move? Well, let me do the absolute best and absolute most I can for the things I'm doing right now. And then go to the next step. Then the next step is evaluate how you can, make money in the interim if that thing that you're jumping to, doesn't exactly, make it to where you can afford life right away, And that's one thing that I had mentioned on the last one is I knew that having some print capabilities and, some value I can offer other people in the meantime, I can supplement until I get kind of the ball rolling. But yeah, I think that word freedom, is an interesting word. And I think when it was brought up, it's maybe coming from a place of feeling like, oh, I'm stuck in this thing, and you're only as stuck ever as you allow your mind to let you think that you are, if that makes any sense. And I think once you really start opening your eyes up and looking in detail about those things, really the thing that should be your freedom price is the freedom of your mind and who you are. I think the thing that makes me feel maybe the most stuck is that, having to, become something that maybe I feel like I'm not, just to kind of please the masses or to, cross the T's and dot the I's within whatever that thing is you're working on or the place that you're working on. But like I said, I think the biggest value for me is that it freed my time up enough to actually put the time to those things. And like I said before, I mean, it's not like I had just jumped with no kind of idea of what I wanted to do, no skill set towards those things. But, I had a pretty clear idea of what I was trying to do, and what I had always wanted to do. And then, like I said, a way to supplement the in-between. And, I think it's that sense of freedom in your mind and in your heart that you're doing something every day that pushes you in a direction to do those things. So that, I guess that would be my thing is if that's a direction you're trying to go, is to jump ship or make a move, first of all, do as good as you can at what you're doing right now. And then, whatever it is you're trying to make a move into, get as good as you can at it. I mean, there's Gary Vee, there's a lot of these guys who, entrepreneurs, that term entrepreneur gets thrown around a lot. And, some people like, I guess when I was younger, wanting to be an entrepreneur, just to be an entrepreneur, I don't really remember us talking about that. But it gets thrown around a lot, like, oh, become your own person, like become an entrepreneur. And then people want to become entrepreneurs for the sake of being entrepreneurs, which I get, it's that freedom of doing your own thing. But becoming an entrepreneur, and, if I was cutting videos for an agency or for someone, and that's what I love to do, but I just wanted to become independent and an entrepreneur, what's up, Noah? And I just want to become an independent entrepreneur. And then all of a sudden I was having to do something that I didn't like. To me, that's not obviously a step, even with the freedom of controlling my own time, but you're still doing stuff that you don't like to do. I don't think that's the proper move. That's less than a sidestep to me. So, it's more about a feeling. It's more about knowing you're doing the right thing for what you want to become and who you are. And I mean, I think that takes a big evaluation of who you are and who you want to be. And I know I do, I go through that all the time. Am I becoming who I want to be? Am I the dude I know I am? And am I making decisions to keep pushing myself in a successful direction that, I could be happy with myself tomorrow or the next day? And then that becomes a micro thing where it's day to day. Now I have the option to wake up and do what I want, in the sense of, getting two things. But, it never comes down to where you are just 100% free. Like, you're always dealing with things. And I just think that the move for me worked out great, because the things that I'm dealing with while I'm doing them for my work also feeds into my personal life and my family. And so, yeah, that would be my encouragement. I hear a lot of people encouraging, or Gary Vee types, become an entrepreneur, jump ship or whatever. If you're 30, you still have all this time ahead of you. And it's all those things are like true and great, I think. But, if there's no direction or goal or skill set that gets you in that right place, then, don't leave a great job that you got, but I think, just evaluating who you are and who you want to become, and then does these ideas of things align with it? And that's what I was saying with social media. It's easy to watch someone, and I get this all the time, like a FOMO, or, missing out on like shooting an event or seeing somebody cut a video and being like, whoa, like that was mind blowing. You get a little bit of that, like, I got to do that. Like, I got to do something like that, like that's sick. Like, it sets that person apart or whatever. But whatever that thing is that I'm, looking at, it might not be something that I'm good at or something that I should even be pursuing. And I think that's the challenge now is are you pursuing that thing because it's something that matters to who you are and what you want to become? or are you pursuing that thing because of the FOMO or the feeling of wanting to look cool on the internet? That's another thing, you know. I've run into a lot of people, especially over this time in the pandemic. You know, all of a sudden I'm getting these paid ads from, and I'm not knocking anyone. Everybody's got their thing, and go for it, right? Like, but you know, you're getting certain type of ads and people feeding you ads in a direction of a professional service that they can offer you. And then when you go kind of look at what they're doing, it's like, oh, they just started doing this, you know, and you know, the fake it till you make it. There is some truth to that. Oh, we got another YouTube subscriber. Thank you guys. But there is some truth to that, you know, fake it till you make it. Like there's a way to do that isn't actually faking it, you know, where it's like you don't feel like, you know, and it could be, you know, you don't feel like, you know, fake it till you make it. Like it could be something where you just feel like, okay, I haven't been recognized as this thing yet, but I have the body of work to show it. And so to me, you know, pitching someone something that you can do, that maybe you've done on a smaller scale or something, but you have the idea of how it scales and what those individual roles and tasks are. To me, that's not faking it. But, you know, looking at some of these other things where I'm getting these fed ads, like I was saying, you know, it feels like, you know, people, oh, that's a face touch. Is that a face touch? It's a hat touch. I don't know if that counts. But you know, where, you know, I'm getting fed these ads and then looking for that service from that person and not seeing that they have really any of those skills that they're trying to serve me a paid ad on. And or other people. I mean, I've had other people bring me examples like that. But yeah, I mean, you know, back to the original point is like, what is your freedom price? You know, you need to maybe list out those things, you know. And for me, I think I got to a point where I was just felt like I wasn't who I am and who I want to become, that I just had to make the move. And like I said, I had a good idea of some supplemental income in the in-between, and you know, was building that portfolio and working hard in the evenings. And the moment that I jumped, oh, Caprice, hey Caprice, thanks for watching. And the moment I jumped, you know, I had the idea in mind that I'm going to take these 8 hours that I'm spending every day, I'm going to expand them into a longer day, and then build a portfolio and you know, bring in all the things that I've done over the years and create that portfolio. So when those opportunities came, you know, I was fairly ready to go. And luckily it didn't take too long before they came. So, and I think, you know, that's back to, you know, how you treat people and all that. I mean, a lot of this stuff, you have to have skills. You have to have the skill of the service or the thing that you're trying to get the business for. But you know I said this in the last one, but a lot of it's how you make no face touch. That's only one face touch. Oh yeah, no face touch for the hat touch. I got a hat touch. But yeah, you want to, what was I saying? You obviously have to have those skills. But yes, what it is leaving people with the feeling that things are taken care of and will be taken care of, and then staying very communicative through the process. You know, kind of no matter what that project or service might be. And then having a good understanding of what people are expecting from you or what their needs are, you know. And I think for me, when people come to me to projects, you know, even if it sounds like it's out of my scope a little bit, I'm like, hey, can we jump on the phone? Like, let's discuss what you're actually looking for here. And a lot of times I find that, you know, they reach out to me so they have a general idea of like, okay, Mike might be able to take care of this. This is something that might be up his alley. And, you know, so like, hey, let's talk it out. Let's see what they really need to know and what the project really is. And then, you know, we'll find out if it's something that is up my alley or not. But like I said, you know, because I left that person with the feeling that, hey, this was taken care of, you know. And then I always do, you know, I tell people like, hey, if you even think this is out of my scope, if you think this is, you know, a creative project that might be not something that I would put my hands on directly, or You might even have somebody else that you have in mind. Like, hit me up and I will help you. I'll help you sort through that project or idea, and give you an example of how it can be delivered. And so, leaving myself open to that type of communication, and then, that's run me into some jobs that I was like, wow, just because I said, hey, I'll talk it through, and then next thing you know, I'm like, hey, I can take care of this. And they're like, well, good. I didn't necessarily have somebody to take care of it anyway. So, but yeah, what is that freedom price? It's going to be a combination for everyone. And like I said, there is no problem with working a day job or whatever you want to call it. Like, there's so many different types of jobs and ways to work now. So there's no, and in any task you do, there's nothing's a small task. You'll find when you do make that jump that everything, all these little things add up and they become one bigger day or bigger task. So the little stuff needs to be handled just as much as the big projects. So there's really no small task. And even with where you're at right now, or if you are thinking about making a move, kind of like what Miles was telling me, is, what you're doing right now matters as much as what you're about to be doing. Because it's about what you take away from the work, almost even more than it is about the delivery and everything else. And it's where your mindset is as you're doing things. And that's a life thing. I mean, I feel like that's a life thing. Having a good attitude and an initiative to do things. And, you can have initiative with a bad attitude. When you're done with that job or project, you're not going to take away from it what you could have. And even when you're feeling tired or wore out, or client needs a million changes, if you're doing it with the right kind of mental attitude and head on your shoulders, no matter the time it took and the exhaustion that you have at the end of the day, it's like, what's his name? I'm not going to think of his name. Military, David Goggins, he'll throw it out like when he's running or something, and he's talking about getting that hard work in. He's like, what are you going to feel like when you hit that hot shower? When it's all over and you set that goal and the end of the day happens, are you going to feel good in that, that hot shower is going to be amazing once you get to it, or, it's kind of the end of the project idea, but like, is it going to be as satisfying if you don't go your hardest or put my drives turning on? It'll become the most satisfying when you do it with the right attitude and the right things in mind. And so that freedom price, the list of those things, I think becomes, what can I do and what do I want to do with that right attitude and that right mind frame? And how can I, and with the right attitude and right mind frame, how can I exponentially build into something that I'm happy and content with? And it goes back to that, what is the goal in life? Is it success? What is success? And, I think there's a lot more talk now with, kind of the anxiety, like depression kind of epidemic in the last few years or whatever. And all these things in social media, all these distractions is, what is that thing that, it's within you, what is success? Is it feeling good about the work you did, or is it doing work beyond, what you can imagine? And I think if you can bring those two things together, then maybe you find that kind of success. But anyway, I'm getting a little rambly. I only want to go 30. I think we're like 30 in right now. If anybody has any like input here on IG or anybody in Instagram, we're on YouTube. And usually when I nix the IG and we wrap up the IG stream, I'll go to YouTube to sorry, I thought I clicked on my live stream. I'll go to YouTube and give them a little something at the end. And so we'll be live again here on Monday. I'm going to wrap it up on IG and then I'll wrap it up on YouTube. But we're going to go live again on Monday. I got a guest. He's like a friend. We've worked together. We've worked as a partnership. He has like an incredible amount of experience, social, paid social, and just business and life in general. I always like hearing what he has to say, even about life and how you approach work. And so he'll have some great insight. But what we're going to do is I'm going to live stream it onto IG, and then I'm going to route that audio into YouTube. So if you're watching on IG on Monday, it'll be like I think 1 o'clock is when he's available. But if you're watching IG, you'll see the visual, and then on YouTube, you'll get to hear the full conversation. And then the other thing I'm gonna be doing here this week is, we're gonna consolidate these episodes and then push them to all the podcast apps. So, making the most of like these discussions. I've really enjoyed these, and it's been somewhat of an intimate crowd, and I've actually really liked that, enjoyed it though, because we're talking about some interesting things, and I think it's cool to get a text message after or FaceTime with someone after, and it's sparking some really interesting ideas in other people, and then it leads to like cooler content and a better dialogue like later. So thanks for watching, you guys. I'm gonna wrap it on IG here, and we'll kind of see you next time. I'll see you on Monday at 1 o'clock. Let's end that. We're still on YouTube here if anybody's watching YouTube. I'm just going to share this story to IG. So we're still live on YouTube here. Throw on the headphones. Anybody still in here? We're at like 31 minutes. This is cool, but for YouTube, I know Steve mentioned how nice like this YouTube experience is, and that's what I wanted to do, was like funnel, the IG views, since I get more interaction there, and bring them over to YouTube. But now YouTube's starting to be pretty lit. So I appreciate you guys watching. And like I said, on Monday, I didn't mention it there, but we're going to be talking to like a VP of like digital at a very, very well-established, I don't want to go too much into like where or who he's working for or with. I'll let him bring that up on Monday if he wants. But just believe that this dude is like super knowledgeable, and he'll have some great insight. I think, we'll talk about some content pieces. He has some cool insight to even what he's seen me do, and the partnerships that we've developed since I've started this company and kind of became independent, then started the company and scaled up our projects. So that'll be cool though. I'm excited for that, our first guest. And then, I have guests lined up for the following Mondays. So like, keep tuning in. I appreciate it. And then, I guess I'll see you guys next time.